Cammy Tell Me True opens with Cammy monologuing her infiltration of an MI5 underground base. She successfully neutralizes everyone in the facility by gassing the place, exploiting a weakness in their ventilation systems. Everyone except one.
Pity for them that no one believed me about the weakness of this installation.
I believed you, Cammy.
Celia's still quite hot from their last encounter and Cammy must die, and I don't blame her. She was the only one that thought Cammy was faking recovery and leading them all into a trap, and it turned out she was right.
I knew it! You are still in league with Bison.
In league? You fool! I'm in love with him!
Cammy looks like she might gain the upper hand in this encounter, but Celia didn't come alone.
Please, Cammy, surrender!
Guile's involvement here doesn't make much of a dent, though. Cammy's able to escape, and Celia's warning about what Cammy escaped with is cause for concern.
Must stop her. Doomsday codes. Bison, Doomsday.
Cammy injured 20 MI5 operatives, including Celia, with this botched attempt at capturing her. Burke and Guile get into an argument about Guile's handling of the Cammy situation, and believes it'd be best to just stop working with Street Fighter altogether. Guile doesn't do himself any favors by bringing up Celia's warning about the Doomsday codes, asking Burke exactly what they are. But I feel like Guile should be able to put two and two together, because my first reaction to that question was, they're probably nuclear launch codes. And Burke said something that really bothered me too.
Because of her, Bison now has the power to blackmail the world.
Yeah, I get it. But you also exist in a universe where Bison does that twice a week, so... Back in Shadaloo, Cammy delivers the Doomsday codes and Bison monologues to himself about them. They're exactly what you'd assume they are. Launch codes for all the world's nuclear missiles. Bison, now entirely possessed by the power of the Kali statue, has no intention of holding the world hostage at all. He wants to destroy it. Sagat, seeing just how far gone Bison's become via spy cam, and realizing he doesn't have the power or support to take on Bison alone, takes a risky gamble and reaches out to Street Fighter for help. His proposition arrives just as Guile and Chun-Li were prepping a jet to leave for Shadaloo anyway, so perfect timing. Chun-Li is extremely skeptical of Sagat's plea, but Guile understands exactly what's going on and what's behind Sagat's motivations.
Sagat craves power. He knows he can't rule the world if Bison destroys it. He wants to live, even if it means collaborating with us.
Sagat even threw in a token of good faith, a tape that might hold some clues to Cammy's past and the nature of her relationship with M. Bison and Shadaloo. And speaking of Shadaloo, Delta Red are on the scene and not faring well. Burke and Rory are already on the losing side of a battle with M. Bison. We find out there that Bison's already caught on to Sagat's betrayal and had him arrested and soon to be executed. Things are moving at a breakneck speed in this episode because we cut back to Chun-Li and Guile and they're just at the gates of Shadaloo's main stronghold, which Sagat somehow managed to arrange them easy access into before he was taken. There's too much ground to cover and not enough time, so the duo split up. Immediately, Chun-Li runs into Cammy, and then Zangief sneaks up on Guile. Both pairs have brief fights until Cammy and Chun-Li's fight spills over into the same room that Guile and Gief are in. The Street Fighters take it to both Shadaloo agents with relative ease. Just... poor Zangief. It's the last episode, and he couldn't even get one W. With Cammy subdued, Guile decides to show off Sagat's tape, and the Revelations come pouring in. Cammy was 17 when M. Bison discovered her parents were MI5 and had them executed. Then with the help of Dalsum, Cammy was brainwashed into becoming an agent of Shadaloo and lover of M. Bison.
Who do you love, Cammy?
Oh, only you. No Bison. Oh, only you.
Okay, first of all, gross. Second of all, gross! Thirdly, it's nice to see Sim getting a little cameo in this final episode, as brief as it was. You can barely even make out that it's him, because he's not even wearing a Shadaloo skull tie. The info dump is too much too soon for Cammy to process, and then she gives us the line of the season.
Lies. Everything is lies. Everything is lies!
Meanwhile, Bison is preparing for launch and Sagat escapes execution. It's actually kinda hilarious. Sagat's droning on about how he never expected to face his own execution squad with his back against that very wall. But just in case, he put a trap door there. You know, just in case. Amazing. Guile and Chun-Li continue to pursue Cammy. She briefly escapes, confronting Bison, and then the final schmoz begins. Cammy takes it to Bison, getting a few hits in, and then frees her Delta Red comrades. They're not much help, though. Rory's still bound, and Bert gets zapped seconds after getting out of his cell. Guile and Chun-Li join the battle, which gives us a classic Bison line.
You killed my...
Yes, I killed your father. I killed my father too, and you don't hear me whining about it.
Even with the powers granted to him by the Kali statue, the numbers start to quickly catch up and overwhelm Bison. Sagat joins the fray, making this battle 6 against 1, but Bison manages to take out everyone until it's just him and Guile left. All the while, the clock is counting down to nuclear Armageddon. It takes 2 straight direct hit sonic booms to Bison, knocking him into a computer console, and then...
Discharge of magnetic force. Help me!
What? Bison mutters something about his magnetic powers and pleading for help, but then the wires of this computer console engulf his body like they're tentacles and suck him into the console, presumably killing him? Oh, okay. I guess. And this somehow stops the launch of nuclear missiles, so I guess the day is saved. Guile and Cammy have a moment of closure. Criminal charges against her have been dropped. Guile believes Escher would be open to having her back with Street Fighter, but she declines. The trauma of her past has her hoping to find a new future. And the series ends with Cammy repeating a line she first uttered at the start of the season.
A person can't live in the past, Colonel. The past is filled with pain.
Now, I wanted to end this video by going back, way back, to the spring of 2018 to answer the question I posed that kicked off this whole episodic retrospective. It all left me wondering, like, is there more to the Street Fighter cartoon than just the memes? Can you really sum up the entire run of the series with just a 10-minute compilation video of silly bullshit? And the short answer is a resounding
Yes! Yes!
But I also think it wasn't a very good question either. Even from the very beginning, I could feel that there was definitely more to this series. The real question is whether or not that more outweighs the memes and out-of-context clips and the like. And the answer, at least for me, is...
Yes!
Don't get me wrong. The greatest hits are fantastic. Bison's Yes, This Is Delicious, Mini DJ, Blanca Crying, Metaphysics, Belrog Photoshopping, Headbite, all amazing, undeniable, iconic. But none of them even scratch the surface compared to the stuff that I found myself. Like those little moments in the series that I personally connected with and made a big deal of in these videos. Things like the Crimson Crawdad, Guile's sandwich arrangements and thumbs up, Mr. Singh, anytime there was some nameless jobber having a fight with a Street Fighter, T-Hawk, Dalsam's skull motif necktie, and that's barely even half of them. Those were the kinds of silly things that I specifically loved. That's the kind of dumb bullshit that I will be sharing with people forever now. And it's also worth noting that, to me, the Street Fighter cartoon was getting progressively better as it went on. Season 1 wasn't really much. It mostly served as a means to introduce characters and establish the status quo. Basically every episode started with Bison committing some crime. Escher exposition, infiltration, big schmoz, Bison gets away. It had a very episodic scheme of the week formula. Nothing lost, but nothing gained. If the series continued on that path, then yeah, I'd be the first to tell you that the Street Fighter cartoon has little redeeming value beyond its memes. But Season 2 gave us a multitude of story arcs that spanned the season and actually gave you something to sink your teeth into and invest in. There was Cammy's betrayal, Bison's recovery and the Kali statue, Blanca's mutation, Ken's ascension to top-tier status. A lot of characters got a lot of growth and development in Season 2, and it would have been really interesting to see where a Season 3 could have gone. I legitimately enjoyed the storytelling in Season 2 overall. And like, they managed to introduce a lot of characters from Street Fighter Alpha into the cartoon, but like, can you just imagine if this series had gone on long enough that we got to like Street Fighter Alpha 3? Or even Street Fighter 3? Season 1 was pretty heavy on references to the Street Fighter live-action movie, which basically served as a base for the Street Fighter cartoon, but as the series went further along, they actually started referencing the games and game canon a lot more frequently, especially as more characters were introduced that weren't in the movie. Sure, there were some old holdovers that weren't going away, like Chun-Li's undercover gig as a news reporter, and the fact that Blanca and Nash are the same person, but at the same time, like, we got a Final Fight episode. I can't in good faith tell you that the Street Fighter cartoon is good, because it's not. The animation is poor, the characters are not the characters that you know and love from the games, the fighting is terrible, but I can't call the Street Fighter cartoon bad either, when I came away from this thing with so much that I loved and wished there was more of. Your results may vary. Is there more to the Street Fighter cartoon than the memes, out-of-context clips, and poor animation? Absolutely. No matter the reason you start watching this series, I can safely say that you'll come away with something. And I think that's awesome.
Street Fighter!
We await your return, warrior.